Hey everybody, hope you're doing well. It's been a crazy week. A couple things we'll get into that throughout this video, but not gonna cry about my first world problems because that's really the issues I've been dealing with. About perspective, and the thing today is observation and how it goes with perspective. This is another one I mentioned in my first talk. Rasheta's Secular Buddhism podcast, which I really like because the way he presents things and the way that that is put across is not to become a Buddhist, but to be a better whatever you are. So you can be whatever you want to be. The principles just help you be better, a better person. And he was talking about observation, and I don't remember who he attributed it to. He likened it to a horse and a rider or a jockey. And the horse is the reactive action part of the brain, and the jockey or the rider is the observer, which many times, obviously, the horse is much more powerful than the rider. So we do have to be careful to keep that in rein, as it were. And on a small note, like the other day I was driving down the road, spend a lot of time driving, and I've always been very good at, I'm not good at sitting in a class, but I have really good common sense. It's a huge blessing I've had. And situational awareness. I always try to be aware of what's going on around me. That's part of the reason I can make these videos while I'm driving around, is I have my camera set up to where, I'm talking and I'm looking at you guys, but in reality, the way my camera's set up, I'm looking at the road. And I can always see what's going on around me, even though I'm doing this. So, I know it's not perfect. Some of my attention is taken off, but that is something that's always been a strong point. But I didn't think about it the way Noel put it. And it was yesterday I had something happen, and then I listened to his podcast today, and it really made it click together. So I was driving down the road, downtown, narrow road, parking on both sides. I needed to park, run in, drop off some paperwork at a law office, and get back out. So there's a loading zone there that I always use. As I'm coming up to this car, brand new Land Rover, and I'm talking decked out Land Rover, $100,000 plus vehicle. No blinker, there's a light right there in front of me, and this guy, no indication. I'm coming up to this light. I drive a F-150 that's got all these tools in the back, and it's not meant to stop fast. It does okay, but it's a big truck. I've driven bigger, but it doesn't stop like your Hyundai. So I am coming up on this guy, and he just whips out into the road. No notice, no nothing. I barely have time. I almost hit him. And I don't even honestly know if he was aware that I did that. And the reason I say that is the light turns green, he drives forward, and he's speeding up, slowing down, speeding up, slowing down. So fortunately, I'm giving him a little bit of room. And then in one of his slow down procedures, again, he doesn't turn on his blinker, he just whips into a stall. And almost the way he got the rear end of his truck, he doesn't know how to parallel park either, so he backed up towards me. And again, I had to hit the brakes. This time I laid on my horn. The guy didn't turn around, nothing. Well, where I'm stopping is 2 stalls ahead. So I pull up, back up. And in my mind, my first thought is, I'm going to open my door or roll down my window. I'm going to stick my head out or turn around and say, evidently, money doesn't buy common sense. Now, that saying is not incorrect at all, because there's plenty of rich people with no common sense. Common sense has nothing to do with your wallet at all. Was not a loving thing or a nice thing to do. And in that moment when I thought I should do that, my mind subconsciously, I said, you're just saying things because you're angry. It's been a week and then this happened and you're angry. So just, you don't know what's going on in his life. You don't know why it happened. So just let it go. Didn't hurt anything. Let it go. No, I've never seen Frozen. And I'm like, and I did. I just grabbed my papers. I went inside, came out, left. Which was a good thing. So then, the podcast today brought out that being observant, it's almost like people see it as a superpower. If you're observant to what's going on around you, and then you're able to act and make better decisions because of those observations, people look at you like you're a genius. And it's not anything different. You're just paying more attention. But No brought out that we can do that internally. And as soon as he said it, he kind of gave an example, and it was exactly similar to what I just said. I observed in myself that I was angry. Because I stopped and observed that, which is not something I've done, and it's still not something I do every time. I've gotten much better at it, but it's not a strong point. It's something I have to keep working on. It clicked. I was like, I stopped, I saw that I was angry, and I was able to act accordingly. And I know that I can act better than I do. And it's not just because I want to be a nicer person. I just want to have a better way through life and improve the lives of those around me and not cause issues. I want to be the solver of issues. There's too many people causing issues in the world. And so it just brought this realization that, oh, I can do that. Okay. So after doing that, I was like, okay, why did him pulling out in front of me make me so angry? I drive all the time. When I worked for HP, I averaged close to 100,000 miles a year on my company cars. I drive all the time. And so I've seen way worse. I've had way worse happen. I ride a motorcycle. I've had people not even pay attention to me and almost kill me by running me over. And I got thinking, earlier that day, I had showed up to my storage unit to pick up some tools, and the lock was gone off my storage unit. And I was on the phone with my girlfriend, and I said, I gotta go. There's not a lock on my storage unit, so I'm assuming the worst. And sure enough, I open it up, and a bunch of my big tools were gone. I'm a private investigator, but I also do handyman work and remodels on the side. And my chop saw's gone, my tile saw's gone, it's all my camping gear's gone. There's about $10,000 worth of stuff just gone. And I was angry because there's a bunch of little things that go with it. The keypad for the storage unit I've been using, they've been leaving it open because the gates had issues, so it was easier for people to get in, and they don't have the security camera footage from when anything happened, and I was just mad. And so that guy that turned out in front of me, all that anger got directed at him. I got no reason to be mad at him other than the fact that he pulled out in front of me. Now that I think about that, I hadn't even thought about it before, but just the other day there was some guy in a Maserati, and somebody cut him off, and he opened fire on the car, and I think he hit the lady. I'm almost sure he hit the lady in the shoulder. Didn't kill her, but they were looking for him, and it's like there's no reason to do that to someone. Maybe even if she did cut him off, it's definitely doesn't justify that in any way, shape, or form. And the way this guy cut me off, he should have used a blinker, but didn't justify my reaction. So that being able to observe and then couple that with I believe he had a podcast on this as well, but being able to couple that with, when someone frustrates you, stop and think about what is their situation, because I don't know their situation. So what is their situation? And then it makes it to where you can react differently. And once you're able to do that, then you temper your personality to where you're going to be a better person overall. And so that's something I'm going to continue to work on. Something popped into my head right there is I used to have a bright yellow IS 300, and it had quite a few modifications to it. It would make Corvettes cry. It was a very fast car, very fun to drive. And my brother-in-law called me. Tragedy in his life, his house was on fire, and he had literally just hung up with the fire department. And the next call he made to me was, he was one of my best friends growing up, and he just said, "I need you here now." And I didn't even know. He said, "My house is on fire. I need you here now." And I said, "All right, I'm on my way." And I literally hung up with him. And again, I'm a good driver, drive all the time. First car was a 79 Trans Am. I was driving there, and I beat the fire trucks there by quite a while, and beat the police there. And who knows how many people I cut off. I was driving safely. I don't feel that I endangered anyone, but there were times I was on that freeway. He was about speed limit wise, he was probably 20 minutes away. 15, 20 minutes. The way I got there, I think we would look back at when I called versus when I showed up on my phone, and I was there in like 8.5 minutes. And so how many people were looking at me going, "Dang, that asshole," I mean, it's a bright yellow car. So they're like, "That asshole, cut me off," or "That asshole's doing 100 in a 65, or, can you believe I remember distinctly, I was in the far left lane. There was no cars. The exit was coming up, and I cut all the way across, hit the brakes on the exit, slowed down, the light turned green at the bottom of the exit, and I think I went around the corner at like 55. And anybody that saw that, I mean, it was either super impressive, or they were thinking worse things about me than I was about the guy that didn't use their blinker. But they didn't know my situation. Most people that knew my situation, I ended up having a family member die in that fire. It wasn't my brother-in-law. And, nobody knew why I was going that fast or driving the way I was. Who knows what they thought of me. So anyway, without drawing this out too much longer, because I want to keep these fairly short, just kind of bear that in mind. Again, just like I did the first one, I'll put a link to Noah's podcast and to that specific, or I'll try to do that specific episode. Don't know if the way his website's set up, it's kind of hard to do that. So I'll put a link to his website and his podcast again, but it's the one from today, and it's about I'll put the title at least above the link to his site, so you've got it. But it's a short listen. It's like 15 minutes. See, some guy just let me in to turn. We got some construction up here that is horrendous. So till next time, be blessed, be positive, focus on those positive things, because it really is true. No matter how much negative we have going on, there's always something positive going on. So find it, keep moving with it, and keep going forward. So until next time, guys, I hope you all do well, and peace and love to everybody. Man, that sounded cliche, but it really is true. Just try to have a good time and be a good person. Till next time, guys, have a great one.